And our refs have the right lingual ready to start our first jam.
At the Derby Beast jammer line, we have Stare and Yeti.
And game number 3 underway. Gatekeepers with early lead jammer. Shredder there on a scoring lap now. Breaks through. Picks up 4.
Star pass to pivot for Columbia, but recycled upon a few times now.
Shredder stare back in the pack. Gets through. Another 4-point signal by our pack ref, inside pack ref. Or excuse me, jam ref. Nice shoulder check on the outside of turn 1. Bringing Wrecking Ball's pivot now jammer back. Meanwhile, Shredder stare through on a third pass. Fourth pass for St. Louis. Wrecking Ball still working that initial pass. And Shredder stare breaks out again. I believe that's 5th pass now. Combo the pivot, number 0 for the Wrecking Balls, holding the star in their hands. Has not put it on yet. Won't have to put it on until they are on a scoring pass. Shred rolls back almost to the jam line as 2-minute jam winds down. 3 final points signaled for St. Louis.
Next on the jammer line, we have for Carolina, Brickyard. For St. Louis, Loki. Quick lead for Loki Doki.
Brickyard check back to the near turn at turn 2, holding the star in their hand. Got some whistles on the far side. Meanwhile, here comes Loki holding 4 points. Each team losing a blocker, headed to the box. Sitting down is the CVM Sports penalty box. Wrecking Ball's down on a pivot. St. Louis down a blocker. Loki on another scoring pass, working against defense at the back of the pack. Brickyard making the initial pass, putting the star back on the scoring pass now. Loki gets through, picks up the 4 points, called off with Brickyard rolling up on the pack. No points signaled for the Wrecking Balls.
Great penalty kill by St. Louis there. For our third jam, we have Jimmy Pacquiao on the line for the Gatekeepers and second Wild for the Carolina Wrecking Balls.
Lots of eyes flying as we head into turn 1 and 2. Here comes St. Louis coming out lead jammer from the back of the pack. Manny rolls up the pack, tucks to the outside. calling it off with Wrecking Balls rolling up on the pack quick.
Picked up all
4-0 advantage. Static X right off the jam line, right out of there. Lead jammer. Wrecking Ball's not even past the pivot line yet. The pivot line brought to you by Top Sports. Static back into turn 1. 4 points.
Carolina with a successful star pass. Getting recycled by Splatter.
We're going to have a 2-minute jam here. Static getting caught on the track cut, headed to the penalty box. Brought to you by CVM Sports. One of the Wrecking Balls blockers headed there to join him. T-Puff still working that initial pass, but a power jam with 1:10 on the clock. Checked out again, brought back to turn 4. Splatter checking T-Puff out again, bring them back to turn 2. Static's penalty time over, rejoins the pack. We got another whistle on the far side. Static takes an outside lane, picks up 4 for St. Louis. T-Puff goes for a knee slide on the outside, gets checked out again, brought back behind turn 1. I think still working that initial pass. Static toe stop hops through on the outside, picking up 4 more. Down to 20 seconds in this jam. Gatekeepers lose a blocker. Static on the outside at the pivot line, 4 more. And T-Puff still working that initial pass, no points as 2-minute jam ends.
With Carolina's first lead jam of the game, Brickyard is out front. Number 3, Thighs chasing her.
And with the end of that jam, the Brickyard adds a couple points to Carolina's score. Jam number 6 underway. Shred a stare out of the pack, right out of turn 1, lead jammer. Shred a stare, gets through the pack, picks up 4 and calls it off with Black and Wild rolling up on the pack.
Jam number 6 on the Derby Beast jam line. We have 112 Getty for the
Forearms called to number 13 for Carolina. Meanwhile, Loki breaks out of the pack first. Lead jammer. Yet he's still working that initial pass at turn 1. Another forearm signal, track cut signaled.
This will be a 2-minute jam. Both jammers picking up a penalty.
And of course, both jammers go in the box. Oh, I guess Loki got there first.
Right.
No.
Yet he served a 3-second penalty there.
So we got a minute 15 left on our power jam. We'll go full 2, or not power jam, 2-minute jam. I'm just excited to be here.
We have a successful pass at number 13, the pivot for Carolina. Brickhouse.
Loki picks up 4 more for St. Louis. Brickhouse in the pack, but picks up a penalty. Track cut.
This will be a power jam for St. Louis. Box with about 6 seconds left.
Looks like Brickhouse will get out of that box, that CVM Sports penalty box, just before the jam ends. Good for Carolina to be ready to go for the next jam. Loki breaks through, picking up 4 more. Two-minute jam ends. And it looks like 1 final point for St. Louis, Carolina, or excuse me, 2 for St. Louis, and 1 point signal for Carolina. And we have a team timeout for Carolina. Timeout brought to you by Toy Division. Shout out to all our chat over on YouTube today. See Johnny Peppers checking in. Smaxolotl. Oh, DCRD friends checking in as well. All right, again, our timeout brought to you by Toy Division, an inclusive store and a community for anyone who loves toys, video games, collectibles, and everything in between. Find the link to their store on the iHod linktree/iHod.
Game number 7 about to get underway. Jimmy Pacquiao on the line for the Gatekeepers. Brickyard on the line for the Wrecking Balls. Some amazing offense from Soul at the top of the key there. Sprung Jimmy Pacquiao free. Power jam for Gatekeepers.
And Carolina headed to the box. St. Louis enjoying a power jam here. Manny with a huge jump over the apex. Doesn't land it clean. Going to recycle behind the pivot line. Cuts the outside. Picks up 4. Off to the races. Pack holding still at turn 1. Just past that Top Sports pivot line. St. Louis lines up the outside. Goes for the inside of turn 2. Lands it. Picks up 4. St. Louis lined up the inside of turn 1 as penalty time ends for Brickyard. Manny on a scoring pass. Takes the inside. Picking up 4. Pack sets up on the far straightaway.
St. Louis gets a goat at the back of the pack. Securing at least 1 point on this pass, but like Jamie picks up all 4.
Jamie picks up 4, calls it off, able to deny Carolina. All right, jam number 9 underway.
Black and Wild going to the box early. Not sure what the call was. Static taking advantage. Early power jam for the Gatekeepers.
Oh, trying to hang on to it.
Cambo with the knockout there at the front of the pack. Great recycle, too.
And we're going to rewind the track now. All the way back to turn 2 the hard way.
Carolina pretty much successfully killed that penalty there. Black and Wild out on his first scoring pass.
Static takes the inside jump. Picks up 2 as he calls off the jam. 0-point signal for Carolina. We'll shout out our officials today. Our officials for Game 3, Redbeard, Wolverine, Dexter, Thriller, Flintlock, Ria Culpa, Cupcake, Breadpool, Arya Snark,
MC Ninja, RDFM, Adam Splitter, Gym Class Hero, Bon Appetit, Matter, Johnny Demonican, Tiny Tanium.
Looks like Beastie's got a forearm set of the box.
Thighs breaks out of the pack, picks up lead. Successful pass by Carolina.
Shia move, the pivot accepting the star for Carolina.
I think that St. Louis is going to run this one. They've got 2 blockers in the box. Oh, what an apex jump. Always love it when you can see a pivot who's pretty darn good at jamming.
Shia move goes for the outside lane, takes a hip check, but stays in, picking up 4. Thighs goes straight up the middle lane, gets checked out in the end like a ping pong ball, or excuse me, like a pinball.
St. Louis with the strategic call off there, clearing the box, denying Carolina any points on that nice apex jump.
Jam 11 underway. Shred a stare out first, lead jammer.
Brickyard fighting through the back of the pack.
Brickyard holding the star in their hands on the far straightaway. Shreds through the pack, picking up 4. Now we got some jammer and jammer action. Brickyard slams on the brakes, not to be a target. And for that lap, advantage St. Louis 2-1 to Carolina's 1. Total of 6-1 for St. Louis that jam. 12 minutes on the clock. Jam 12 about to start. Looks like we got Black and Wild for Carolina in black. Loki in white for St. Louis. Loki up front, pushing against Carolina's defense. Black, oh, we got a whistle. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen, for being patient, making sure we attend to our skaters appropriately, and thanks to our EMTs and officials attending to all of our athletes. Jam number 13 underway.
Jamie Pacquiao versus Black and Wild.
Whistle on the far side. St. Louis losing the pivot. And Jamie Pacquiao out first.
That was some incredible footwork on the inside line there by Black and Wild.
Jamie hits the pack on scoring pass. Carolina scoring pass. Goes for the inside jump. No land. Both jammers on the inside. Going to recycle behind. Jamie up front.
Power jam for St. Louis. Black and Wild called for a cut.
Jamie breaks through, picks up 4 now on a power jam. Goes for the outside lane, not landing cleanly. Going to recycle behind.
One-handed catch on the inside line by Jamie.
Looks like Carolina picking up a directional on that block on Jamie. Jamie goes down, one hand out of bounds.
Black and Wild back on the track, completing his initial pass. Both teams of players in the CVM sports penalty box. We'll see how St. Louis handles this.
Black and Wild finds an outside lane, picking up 4 for Carolina. And it looks like Jamie's going to run the clock out, final 5. Another jump on the inside of turn 3 for Carolina, picking up that final 4. Looks like Jamie picking up 12 and Black and Wild picking up 8 that jam.
We've got a Toy Division official timeout today. As mentioned earlier, Toy Division is an store and community for anyone who loves toys, video games, and collectibles, and everything in between. Make sure you follow Toy Division on Instagram to find out where their next show appearance might be near you. Static Shock on the line. Yeti. Static Shock called on a multiplayer, making it a power gym for Carolina. Lead is open. Yeti getting his way to the front of the pack. Swept up by a sea of GateKeepers.
Yeti brought back all the way back to the Derby Beast jammer line. Now brought back again to turn 4. St. Louis doing a good job of eating up the power jam time.
Here comes the offense from Carolina. Static Shock is standing, sitting in the box.
And Static's penalty time over in the pack. Breaking through in the initial pass now. We're going to have ourselves 2-minute jam with 1:05 to go. Static on the scoring pass. Breaks through on the inside. Turn 1. Carolina still working that initial pass.
As Steven said, this will be a 2-minute jam. Lead had been open, but Yeti pulled his cover, attempting to pass to his pivot.
And Carolina picking up a track cut. Now St. Louis and Static gets a full 30 seconds of the last 40. Get as many points as they want. One final blocker to get past. Static shrugs it off, picks up 4, breaks through.
Static showing off some fancy footwork at the top of the pack. Dancing pass toward a new one.
St. Louis defense has a baby in the back of the pack. They're going to hold the pack still here at turn 2. Making that track as short as they can for Static. Static breaks through one final time. And 2-minute jam ends for number 14. Thanks to Cole for the pronunciation correction. Was thinking that was a Shia LaBeouf pun. That's a show ya mouth pun. So appreciate that. See, I think I saw thighs there jamming for St. Louis. Pack spread out. Thighs brought back behind the jam line. St. Louis loses a blocker. No lead jammer established yet. The whole pack rolling back to turn 4 now.
Ooh, Brickyard squeezes out of the pack. Brings some confusion between the gatekeeper blockers. Thighs has pulled his cover looking for his pivot.
Brickyard through the pack, untouched. 4 points for Carolina.
Full pass to the pivot for the gatekeeper. It's knocked out of bounds by Carolina Wrecking Balls.
Brickyard checked out hard on the inside at turn 1. Going to bring them back to the jam line.
Love to see when a jammer plays some defense. Thighs with the knockout on Brickyard and the run back.
And Brickyard is going to call it off. 4 final points with Tall Lady running up on the pack fast. Black and Wild back on the jam line for Carolina. Shred a stare for St. Louis. That Derby Beast jammer line.
Just a little bit of offense on the inside. It's all Shred a Stare needed to squeeze out and get lead jammer.
Black and Wild getting caught on the track cut there.
Power Jam St. Louis.
CVM Sports Penalty Box getting their sponsorship today. Shred a stare through the inside of turn 1, picking up 4. 4 minutes in this first half. It's our last game of the day, but not for the weekend. Still 2 more days of Derby for you. Starting again tomorrow at 10 a.m. 4 more for St. Louis. Black and Wild races out of the penalty box. Splatter there to make sure that they come in as far back as they can. Big check on the outside of turn 1. Shred check back behind the jammer line, brought to you by Derby Beast. Black and Wild on the scoring pass. Shred goes to the inside, turn 1, picking up 4 and calling it off. 0-point signal for Carolina. 12-0 advantage for St. Louis that jam. 3 minutes on our first half game clock. St. Louis lined up on the Derby Beast jammer line. Carolina was lined up on the Top Sports pivot line, and Carolina rolled back to smother St. Louis defense a bit. Loki Doki jamming for St. Louis.
Just seed.
And
Go to the box.
T-Puff, I think, got an illegal procedure. I think I saw what's the signal. Maybe a false start. Meanwhile, Loki Doki for St. Louis on a scoring pass. Didn't see the call, but I think I heard elbows on the Carolina blocker. Meanwhile, Loki breaks through, picking up 4 for St. Louis. Takes the outside lane, hangs on, 1 foot gliding through. Avoiding that check entirely. And T-Puff cuts through the inside. Nice footwork with that cut. Loki takes awareness of where the jammer is. Calls it off, picking up only 3, I think I see. I think I see a pinky hanging there. Minute 20 on the scoreboard, brought to you by America's Brand Value. Brand X, your favorite brand. Jamie Pepegao out first, lead jammer for St. Louis. I think I see Brickyard in black with the star on. Yes, Brickyard for Carolina. Handing the star off to Pivot. Now Brickhouse.
We'd have time for one more jam this half.
Jamie picking up 4-0, that jam.
Starting blocker down.
Carolina with a blocker advantage in the pack as jam number 19 underway, and already a whistle. Black and Wild going to start a power jam here. Black and Wild through first, going to be lead jammer. St. Louis lines up front at turn 1.
St. Louis really protecting that inside line from the incoming offense.
Black and Wild finally breaks through on the inside, picking up 3. Looks like we got a track cut.
Black and Wild.
And a 2-minute jam here. 55 seconds for the first half. We are on jam time. Nice check on the outside. Goes out of bounds. Going to be a no pass, no penalty. Static rolls on. 3 points signaled. Doing a little bit of punishing against this alma mater. I believe Static said it was the first team he joined when joining Derby. Black and Wild's penalty time over, rejoin the pack at the Derby Beast jammer line. Static brought back to turn 4. Black and Wild going to be brought back to turn 4 as well. 4 final points signal for St. Louis. All right, and we are back. 30 seconds to the end of intermission. Welcome back.
So we're seeing the box as a result of the blast play. We saw an OR as we went to Black requested a cut on the white jammer number 50. Black 30 pass. It's ruled the initiator also went in bounds. There's a pass. Back block at some point. Starting in box result. Blocker down situation for Carolina.
So on the Derby Beast jammer line, it looks like we have thighs starting off with this power jam. Straight to the outside turn of one. Coming away lead jammer. And going to call it off with Carolina rolling up on the pack. 0-0 signaled both teams. Not sure why I thought that was power jam. I thought our blocker in the box was the jammer for Carolina. My bad on that.
Carolina starting their second down.
Okie dokie with two Carolina defenders to get past. One left, out, lead jammer. And here comes Black and Wild, literally on Loki's heels. Going to force a call off. Two jams, no points so far for a second half.
Game number 3, Jamie Pacquiao on St. Louis GateKeepers, Brickyard.
Jamie takes that inside line, or outside lane initially, cuts the inside of turn one, hangs on, coming away lead.
Beautiful one-hand catch on the inside line.
Already hitting the pack on a scoring pass. Carolina still working the initial pass.
Successful pass to the pivot, but sniffed out by defender GateKeeper.
Jamie cutting to the outside lane this time. Slow to get up. Yeti starting off his pivot, having accepted the star for Carolina, is out now on a scoring pass. Yeti goes for the outside of turn two. Can't hang on, gonna recycle.
GateKeepers trying to kill this penalty, running the jam just a little long.
Jamie finds it inside of turn two, gets away. Yeti breaks through on the outside on the far straightaway. Packs off to the races now at turn three, turn four, coming around the Derby Beast jammer line. Looks like Jamie is checked out, going to be brought back to turn four, the far straightaway. Actually, both jammers being brought back. Turn four now to turn three, turn two. Yeti stepping in right behind number 4 of St. Louis. Jamie becoming behind the pack now. The pack enters the far straightaway. Jamie's out of the pack.
St. Louis all over Yeti at the back of the pack.
Yeti held up at turn 4 still. Jam ends. Looks like we got one final point signal for St. Louis, 2 points signaled. That pass for Carolina. St. Louis picking up 2 + 1. Carolina picking up 1 + 2. Just don't ask me the math. Carolina down a blocker with one of them in the CVM sports box. Static pushing those toe stops, trying to get past Carolina's defense. Takes the shoulder check, finds the inside lane, breaks out. Another Carolina blocker hanging out in the CVM sports box. Carolina working the initial pass. T-Puff gets out the initial pass. Whistle dead. Jam, 4 points signaled. Or static. So total 4-0 advantage St. Louis that jam. 25 on the clock. Our scoreboard brought to you by Harlan Oscara's Happy Fun Time Haunted House. Official timeout. Our timeout brought to you by Toy Division. This Toy Division timeout is brought to you by Toy Division, obviously, an all-inclusive store and community for anyone who loves toys, video games, collectibles, and everything in between. Make sure to follow Toy Division on Instagram to find out their next show appearance. You can find the link on the iHod link tree, linktr.ee/IHOD. Everybody's just tuning in. Current score 205 for St. Louis, 51 Carolina. Previous game, game 2, Y'all Holla fell 122 to Race City Rebels 192. First game of the day, Beekeepers fell to Chicago Bruce Brothers 179 to 185. Things will get kicked off tomorrow at 10 o'clock and again on Sunday at 10. Tomorrow morning it's going to be Austin Anarchy against Toronto. Mixed roller derby. Speaking of fun stuff, don't forget about the after party. The Saturday night after party is going to be at Up and Down STL starting at 8:30. Up and Down has 50-plus beers on tap, 80-plus arcade games, craft cocktails, and toss pizza by the slice, and more.
It's a great time. Come out and hang out with us.
Okay, to recap as best I can for the official review, there was an illegal procedure, I believe, which basically destruction of pack, and then a no pack form, so out of play contact, so a double penalty. And if anyone needs me to do that math, that's a minute. That's 2 30-second penalties. I mess up and say a minute for each penalty all the time. I'm used to the old rules. And I say, bring back my 5th point.
As this official timeout ends, we go into our 5th jam. Carolina's got 2 blockers in the CVM ports penalty box. Ties at the outside line, quick lead jammer status.
Black and Wild going for that inside jump, lands at a turn one. Both Jammers on a scoring pass. Thighs picking up points. Pack at turn four now, coming around the near straightaway. Black and Mild picking up points as well. Thighs on a second scoring pass. Thighs able to shrug off that last check, picks up four more. Black and Wild's checked out, going to be brought back to turn four. Maybe turn three. Is on the scoring pass. Thighs on the outside. Hangs on. Fourth pass, 4 points. Black and Wild checked out again. Comes in behind their blocker. Here comes Thighs to the outside of turn one again. Tripped up on the inside. Gonna go ahead and call it off. We got a big pile up. Everybody's giving us thumbs up. Good to see everybody up at their own accord. Thank goodness. Saw a little stir step. Looks like somebody wanted to skate across the middle there and decide otherwise. Jam number 6 underway. Shredded stare, no pass, no penalty. Not going to be lead jammer, but out first. Brickyard has a chance to get lead jammer here, and lead jammer for Brickyard. Shred on the inside through, picking up.
Calls Shred a steer for a cut on the inside line. Power jam, Carolina. See how Brickyard takes advantage of this. Ooh, swept the inside line. She darts through, picks up an easy 4. Saying, run it, run it. Oh, as a jammer myself, I hate that. Brickyard made it to the front of the pack, only to get recycled by all 4 Gatekeeper blockers.
And Brickyard brought back behind the pivot line. I'll go ahead and call it off. Power jam had ended, and St. Louis able to sneak away with a 4 before Brickyard can call it. Carolina with the advantage, 12 to St. Louis's 4 of that jam. Still 21 and a half to go. Loki Doki jamming for St. Louis, T-Puff for Carolina. Loki with 2, well, it's Carolina recycling their defenders. Now 3 blocker, a tripod to get past. And it looks like we got a multiplayer. So Carolina losing a blocker. T-Puff at the back of the pack trying to get past St. Louis defense. No lead jammer established yet. Carolina losing number 33. Shh. Show your mouth. Hanging out in the CVM's penalty box for a moment.
Excellent one-on-one blocking going on several times through this last jam.
And we finally have our lead jammer a minute 15 into this jam. St. Louis losing a blocker, now blocker piece in the box. Loki Doki picking up 4. 30 seconds to still score some points. T-Puff getting soul crushed to the back of the pack. Here comes Loki Doki, another 4 points. And T-Puff breaks out. Initial pass. Loki Doki through one more final time. 4 points signaled. And T-Puff hits the pack. Picks up 3. A hard fought 3 at that.
Gatekeepers lining up the start of this jam on the top pivot line. Top, get ready to dominate the track. Introducing Top jerseys, your new favorite gear, even if you don't know it. Made in the U.S. by Derby players.
We have a whistle, but we have signals. Official signal, official timeout signal. Official timeout. Officially. Black and Wild out first, going to be Lee Jammer for Carolina. Jammer Pacquiao jamming for St. Louis. Black and Wild going to go ahead and call it off. Picking up 3 and calling it off, denying St. Louis 3-0 advantage. See, Johnny Pepper's with me. He wants to bring back the Jammer lap point too.
Jam number 9 under the way. Brickyard on the track for the Wrecking Balls. Against Static Shock for the St. Louis Gatekeepers. Brickyard called for a quick lead, but then swallowed back up by the pack.
Static's out ahead. Brickyard is in the pack. Lee Jammer going to go ahead and call it off with Static rolling on a scoring pass.
She looked over and saw a box and decided it wasn't.
Jam 10, we got Thighs and T-Puff on the Derby Beast Jammer line. Thighs up front, breaking out first, lead Jammer. We got a forearms on Carolina's number 13, Brickhouse. Yoshi with the final check on T-Puff as they break out the initial pass. Meanwhile, Thighs picks up 4.
Thighs looks for the instruction to call, sees 2 of his blockers in the box. Signal coming out to run the jam long, clear the box out.
Thighs picking up 4, breaking through. T-Puff on a scoring pass, meets all 2 blockers for St. Louis. Carolina with just 2 blockers as well as a thirds rejoin the St. Louis wall. 0 point signal for Carolina. I think I see 3 for St. Louis. Or excuse me, the other way around. 3 for Carolina and 0 that pass for St. Louis. 8 total for St. Louis that jam. Jam called off. Official timeout being signaled. We're going to reset this one. Oh, well, we got a break in the action. Our officials are figuring out who to blame, who forgot the zebra cakes. We'll shout out a couple of our sponsors tonight. Thank you to Arch Rivals. Check out the Arch Rival booth. Freshly stocked with fanny packs, standard and slim koozies, cute kids shirts, colorful shirt designs, and lots of $5 and $10 clearance items. Also stop by to scan the code for a new online merch store with even more items.
Also, stop by A Prince Massage. The booth offers massage sessions and walk-up service, including leg compression, space pants, cold heat therapy, hydration, wellness products from our other sponsor, Urban Apothecary, and confirm is an excellent massage therapist. I'm sorry.
So the TLDR version of what's happening right now is we were having an official review and the other jam started when it wasn't supposed to start while we are still cleaning things up, so we're cleaning that up too. Thank you for being patient. Well, everybody can't see it at home because it's directly underneath the camera. One of our Carolina blockers taking full advantage of that penalty box, spreading out and enjoying it. I'm a little jealous.
Jam 11 about to start. Try to stare in the line for the Gatekeepers. Black and Wild starting out for the Wrecking Balls.
15-17 on the clock.
Ooh, quick cut by Shredded Stare. Power Jam Carolina.
Ooh, he almost hangs on to the toe stop, spins through, and recycles to the near straightaway.
Wow, sweeping offense to the outside. Black and Wild takes advantage. Lead jammer.
Pack gonna hold still at turn one. Waiting for the signal from Black and Wild. Pack takes off and he takes the inside.
Apex jump made it look like it was easy. He said, "I'm going to do it again."
Second scoring pass for Carolina.
Redis being called for his second cut. Don't think he saw that blocker who dropped on him.
And I think Shred got caught on the track cut there. Didn't realize what happened. One of the Carolina blockers lined up about 20 feet back, still in the engagement zone, and jam ends as Shred takes his seat.
Black and Wild picking up 6 points of the jam, but more importantly, starting his team off with a power start. Sorry, 10 points on that jam.
An official timeout on the floor. And with a quick...
It looks like they overturned the penalty on the GK jammer. Loki Doki on the line, now at the front of the pack. Going up against...
Brickyard on the outside, coming away, lead jammer for Carolina. It took us about 25 seconds to get a jammer, lead jammer. Loki Doki checked out, brought back to the near straightaway. St. Louis down 2 blockers. Loki picking up 4. Carolina down a blocker. Loki through on the inside of turn 3. Brickyard on the inside of turn 4, going to call it off. Brickyard picking up 8 for Carolina, 0 for St. Louis to wrap up Jam 12.
St. Louis calling a team timeout. As we mentioned earlier, our team timeouts are brought to you by Toy Division. They are a great follow-up, and they produce videos, some really interesting and cool toys from your childhood.
And while we got a little bit of break in the action, a big thank you to our sponsors. Thank you to Sacred Roller Derby Supply, Roller Skate Supply, our exclusive on-site skate shop for iHod. Proudly woman and LGBTQAI plus owned, the shop champions a judgment-free atmosphere with sacred quality gear and knowledge sharing meets genuine connections embodying their vision of come for the skates, stay for the camaraderie, and good vibes. Follow them on Instagram while you're here. Link in the iHod linktree/IHOD.
Game number 13 about to be underway. Both teams with a blocker in the box.
I think we got a track cut on T-Puff.
Power Jam St. Louis.
Jamie finds an inside lane on the far straightaway, coming away lead.
St. Louis taking advantage, spreading these blockers apart, making it easier for Jamie Pacquiao to go through it on an additional scoring pass.
Pack holding steady just at the start of the far straightaway. Jamie on a second scoring pass, hops through on the inside. Check down the inside, going to be brought back.
All teams like to get the goat, the baby, whatever you want to call it, at the back of the pack. Lets them define the pack and counts for easy points for the jammer on their scoring passes.
2 passes, 8 points. Jamie calls it off, and going to start off on another power jam here. T-Puff still in the box for Carolina. 11-11 on game time. Do we make a wish when the game clock is 11-11?
I did.
Wasn't sure if jam time affected that or not. We got an official timeout. Well, 11 left in this game. Our final game of today, but definitely not the weekend. We have tomorrow morning, 10 a.m. Austin taking on Toronto. Then it'll be Race City taking on Carolina. Beekeepers against Toronto. Austin against Chicago. And Gatekeepers versus Y'all Holla to wrap out day 2. And that'll be at 10 a.m. tomorrow morning.
As Steven mentioned, St. Louis starts with a power start. Static taking full advantage of that. With the help of his blockers controlling the back of the pack. New one. Oh. Carolina Jammer standing, ready to go back into the pack.
Static checked out the outside of turn 1, brought back to the jam or pivot line.
Brickhouse up there to meet him. I've been at the receiving end of that block. It's not fun.
Looks like Yoshi gets caught on a directional. St. Louis loses a second blocker. 4 points apiece that pass per team.
St. Louis 2 blockers in the box. Probably going to run this one long.
T-Puff goes for the inside, gets checked out. Static takes the outside, comes away with 4. 10 minutes and game time. T-Puff through, picking up 4 for Carolina. Static picking up 4 more. Looks like he's going to eat up the time to get his teammate out of the box. 4 more for Carolina.
Here comes the offense trying to split, open up a hole for Static.
Static checked out, going to call it off. 1 final point.
2 points on his final pass.
2 points. I missed the pinky.
14-12.
The pinky got me. And with that jam, Carolina crosses the century mark, now 103.
Jam number 15, we're seeing thighs on the line for the Gatekeepers. Black and Wild taking the star for Carolina.
Oh, my second favorite thing here, jammer on jammer derby.
Thighs lead jammer and went to play some jammer offense, defense on Black and Wild, but too fast for him. Seeing a call off.
Jammer's off to the races, the pack's off to the races. Round and round. Pile up here in between turn 1 and 2.
Predator going right up the middle, picking up an early jam. Brickyard taken out by Lethal and run back, but escapes the pack herself.
Shred breaks through, picking up 4. Brickyard on a scoring pass, hits the pack,
Oh my.
hits a hip.
Tried to dip on the outside. Lethal got low and said no.
Yeah, Brickyard versus Lethal. I think I know who's going to bounce. Shred goes for the inside jump, lands it and picks up 4. And
I think that's called an apex hop.
don't get all technical on me. Picking up 4 more for St. Louis. Brickyard working on this scoring pass here.
Brickyard was here in town a few weeks ago with Team USA, put on some clinics and had a scrimmage against Arch.
St. Louis bringing Brickyard back to turn 4 again, still trying to get through on this first scoring pass. Shred just finding the inside lanes, coming away with 4s after 4s.
St. Louis running these long jams. They control the clock, burn the clock towards the end of the game.
Six passes. Here's the 7th. St. Louis defense doing some amazing work in this jam. Brickyard finally breaks out, picking up a full 4. And a final 4 for Shred. I got a math. I stopped counting. 8 passes. And we're going to have an official timeout.
Wrapping up. Here put up 32 points. Crossing the
MC Ninja's trying to make the debate that the new Footloose is better than the old one. I gotta disagree with him though.
Got a timeout going now, but here's an excellent chance for us to talk about raffle we'll be running this weekend. Ticket sale again tomorrow with results pulled on Sunday. It's a 50-50 raffle. We also are running a silent auction. Located back by the turn 3-4 by the table. Prizes.
Oh, a quick recap of today's games. Game 1, Chicago Bruise Brothers beat GateKeepers 185 to 179. Game 2, Gray City Rebels took down Y'all Holla 192 to 122. Right now we're watching the GateKeepers take on the Carolina Wrecking Balls. All right, our official timeout looks like it was over one of the St. Louis blockers taunting a Carolina player, now going to be hanging out in the box. Unsportsmanlike conduct, sorry. Loki out first, going to be lead jammer, T-Puff. Jamming for Carolina. Splatter with a nice check on T-Puff, bringing it back to turn 2. And Loki able to skate through the pack, picking up 4. T-Puff breaks through, picking up 4 for Carolina. Loki picks up 4 more and calling it off. 8-4 advantage St. Louis.
Just under 5 minutes to go in this game.
Jammy off to the races. Black and Wild still in the jam line. Jammy going to be brought back behind. And Black and Wild catches a track cut. Going to go to the box. So Jammy on a power jam, lead jammer. Looks like initially breaking through out of the pack, picking up lead jammer before being recycled behind. Shrugs the check off, stays in, picks up 4. Carolina loses a blocker. Pack holding steady on the Derby Beast jammer line. Jammy hits the pack, gets checked out, brought back to turn 4. Pack moving backwards now to turn 3.
Black and Wild leaving the box, coming in on his initial pass.
Jammy out, picking up 4.
Ouch. DK blocker fell backwards over on top of Black and Wild.
Loud whistle on the far side.
Cut called on Jammy. This is going to be a 2-minute jam. Black and Wild threw for his first 4. I'm sorry, his initial. Instruction call and spin diesel.
Black and Wild trying to hang on to it, slides out of bounds. Check that inside, goes for a hop. Gonna recycle. And 2-minute jam ends. It's like 4-point signal for Carolina and 8 total for St. Louis. That jam, we tick down to 2:10. Could be the last jam if things align right. And we have official timeout. All right, 1:56 on game time.
Oh, Gameless took a timeout.
Just kidding. Team timeout, St. Louis.
St. Louis blockers in the box. Probably wants to take a moment, breath, set themselves.
Have a little mini tournament of Rochambeau. Shout out the chat. They've been a little quiet. Lee cheering for Brickyard. Cleo Smacky's home watching now. Tiffy Twister enjoying the show.
Finishing up this Gatekeeper team timeout, 4 blockers in the CVM Sports penalty box. Collectivium Sports is the only authorized dealer of MS Sportswear Derby products, the fastest growing brand in Derby apparel.
Well, a 1v3 in the pack.
Brickyard out first.
Brickyard, your lead jammer. Potential last jam. Shred jamming for St. Louis. Brickyard gets checked out, goes down to all fours and slides out. They had the speed for sure. Shred through, picking up 4. Brickyard's first scoring pass, picking up 4.
Carolina still lead. Gatekeepers taking advantage, getting all their penalties out of the box.
Second pass for Brickyard. Gonna call it. Should be 8 apiece with 1 minute on the game clock. We will have one more jam. Looks like jam number 20 will be the magic one. Official timeout on the floor. And reset.
Static shot called lead on this, the last jam of the game. T-Puff to the front of the pack, getting out at his initial pass, dodging Static's offense.
Stack's gonna call it. 8 points for Static, that final jam. 0 point signal for Carolina. Make some noise for these teams. That is your unofficial score. Unofficial score, 123 for Carolina. 337 for St. Louis.